This is Karen with Rainier Avenue Radio, and we are now on 11th and what are we on? Pine. And we are outside of the East Precinct, which has now, what are they calling this? And go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience here.
What's up, everybody? I'm Po Leapai. I also go by P.O. Box, local artist and educator and activist from Seattle.
And actually, you can hear Po in between Rainier Avenue Radio programming, singing the hook of. Go ahead and tell us the hook.
Oh shoot! My voice is so.
It's okay. It's okay. No.
Hit me up in a couple days. I got you.
All right. So we have actually been seeing you at a number of these events out here. Can you tell us what brings you out?
Yeah. First of all, shout out to everybody here that's supporting and standing in solitude with us. Last year on New Year's Eve, in December 31st, 2018. My cousin Yosia Slim Falitoma was murdered by Seattle Police Department, North Precinct. And all I really got to say, I won't take up too much time, but there are two things I wanted to kind of highlight. There are a lot of important issues on the table, and two that are dear to my heart. The first one is civilian oversight. And what that is it pretty much, we earn our place at the table. We get to keep the police accountable, law enforcement accountable. And I think that's important because, having a place at the table could really help relations between the community and the police. I also think the second thing I wanted to point out also that's dear to my heart is de-escalation training. And we're talking about a lot of that in a lot of the conversations. My thing with de-escalation training is I'm all for it. But to me, it's pointless if they were already raised to be racist and to hate and all that. I think it's important to get into kind of their mental state and kind of see where they're at ultimately in relation to the de-escalation training. So that's all. But there's a whole lot of things that we got. Defunding the police, let's get some of those funds to our communities and help, mental health research, stuff like that, to prevent us from even getting to this.
Were you at the event at City Hall a little earlier?
Yeah. We started up here. We marched down there. We were all in there. I don't know, well over 1,000 people from site by site.
What time did you get down there?
I think we arrived there about 4:30.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh no. We started at 6. I'm thinking about the other day. Sorry. So we got there about 7:30. I believe. Yeah, we got there about 7:30.
And the doors were open?
Yeah. By the time I got there, they were open, and everybody just started flooding in. So.
And what happened when you got there?
Everybody found their places, to sit on the floor, stairs, where else, everywhere else. And then we had a couple great speakers speak. A couple of the leaders from today's organization, of course. I forget her name. Sorry, politician lady. That's the city council member.
I heard Shama Sawant was there.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, she was there.
Were there other elected officials that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Okay, so what's your understanding of what's happening here on the block now that the police precinct is closed and the guard line is gone?
Yeah, we made it clear these are our streets, and a lot of the police presence, I think, was unnecessary. A lot of the excessive force was unnecessary. I think proof of that was last night when they all pulled out, took off, and not one issue last night, and I think that's a huge statement, and that should speak volumes to everyone. That was all the naysayers in the media that tore us up, tore our protesters up in the news and everything. But we were good. We had a good security team and everything out last night, keeping an eye on things, walking around the neighborhood and making sure everything was peaceful. And it was cool. Not one incident from what I know.
So what do you believe the message is from continuing to occupy the street?
Listen to the people. Transparency is important, I think. Transparency is really important. I feel like the people are feeling duped. Don't feel like they're being heard and their concerns are being carried out. or even considered. You know, defunding the police is a really important issue to talk about, and I think just dismissing the entire topic altogether, I don't think that's cool. I think everybody should sit down and have a legitimate conversation about it.
Okay, and for our audience who just joined our live stream on Rainier Avenue Radio, if you could reintroduce yourself.
My name is Po Leapai, and I am I go by P.O. Box, a local artist, educator, and activist from Seattle.
Right on. Thank you for talking with us,
Thank you.
Po.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Love y'all.
If you see anybody that I should talk to, please send them my way, or you know, tap and point.
Will do.
You know, let me know.
Thanks for doing that, by the way.
For sure. You know, it's about showing the community and what's happening.
Yeah.
So, for the last week and a half, this has been the guard line. You can see actually that there is a booth over here on the street where they have umbrellas. Come as you are. You do you. No cop. Co-op. Seating is open. And it looks like a supplies booth area with sanitizer and masks and earplugs and Tylenol, eye wash, masks. Beautiful. And another booth over here with umbrellas that says "End Qualified Immunity, the judge-made law that projects corrupt cops' accountability." I'm just getting the booth. I'm with Rainier Avenue Radio.
That's totally fine, but I have a patient here and I'm not going to let you record him, so I'm standing in front of him.
Yep, I am not recording anybody's faces here. Just the items at the booth, but I understand. Thank you for helping. This is Karen with Rainier Avenue Radio, and apparently that was a med team out here on the hill attending to a patient. Made them a little nervous to be near them with the camera. Our intent is to always be truthful but respectful. And we know from being out here over the last few blocks that the art has continued to change every single day. There's new art. Let's see if I can get you a nice shot of that. And this is the memorial that the people have put together. The sign says, "Rest in power to those killed during the George Floyd rebellion." On that whiteboard to the bottom right of the screen. The large banner says, "Mourn the dead and fight like hell for the living." This one says, "The establishment will always fear real democracy and black power." And down at the end of this block is where there has been music and there is not tonight. This is a quiet, peaceful, it looks like community happy crowd to me. This is Karen with Rainier Avenue Radio. We are live on Capitol Hill, Seattle on 11th and Pine, and we are at the barrier at the East Precinct. Which was the front line between community protesters, police, SWAT, and National Guard over the last week and a half. The police vacated the building yesterday. on the hill who are not necessarily part of the protest or the people stand in. And up at the end of the block, there's they've got speakers, but it sounds like a movie that they're playing. Here's some more of the artwork that's out here on the hill.
I began to hear the word super predator as if that was my super predator. And that's the word they use that describes the fish, and it is very, very effective.
We'll go take a little closer look at what's happening. This group of people just came from a meeting at City Hall. It wasn't really a meeting. They just went and sat and spoke for several hours, it sounds like. You could call that a meeting, you could call it a sit-in, you could call it an occupation, but the people were there. And then they marched uphill on James from 4th Street up to where we are now, 12th and Pine.
They put 5 innocent kids in prison because the pressure to lock up these quote-unquote animals is so strong.
It says Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. Listen to peace.
And make the group, you better believe. Donald Trump wanted to give these kids a death penalty, and they took out a full-page ad to put the pressure on. These children, 4 of them under 18, all went to adult prisons for 6 to 11 years before DNA evidence proved they were all innocent.
We make them. That's how we introduce them. Well, that's a rapist, that's a murderer, that's a robber, that's a sex offender, that's a burglar, that's a
The
gang.
sign above the door says Seattle People Department, East Precinct.
And that they should go to prison.
The objective reality is that virtually no one who is white understands the challenge of being black in America.
So you have then educated a public deliberately over years, over decades, to believe that black men in particular and black people in general are criminals. I want to be clear, because I'm not just saying that white people believe this, right? Black people also believe this and are terrified of our own selves.
You want to go back to the days of military weakness, caring more about criminals than victims? We can't risk that. I'd like your vote on Tuesday.
Leadership that's on your side. Michael Dukakis for president.
In the midst of the presidential campaign, an ad was released about a person by the name of Willie Horton.
Bush and Dukakis on crime. Dukakis not only opposes the death penalty, he allowed first-degree murderers to have weekend passes from prison. One was Willie Horton. This became
fix this.
his girlfriend. Weekend prison passes. Dukakis on crime.
Dukakis had protected the program, vetoed an effort to repeal it, and that he favored letting
Sorry
murderers
for
out on the weekend.
shaky. I'm trying to plug my phone into the charger so that I can keep
Before the campaign focused on Willie Horton.
showing you what's happening here on 12th and Pine.
Which candidate for president can you really tell to be tough on crime? George Bush.
Bush won the election by creating fear around black men as criminal without saying that's what he was doing.
A very racially, divisive moment. Depicting an African American criminal, I think, was deliberate on the part of that campaign. No one can tell me otherwise.
Liberals call it really hard to make it sound like you're being dismissive. Which word was Queen's Digest? William Horton, no picture. The Democrats and William Horton is black.
Thanks, bro. It was not his name.
Excuse me, do you know what movie this is?
Ava Turner, it's 13th.
Oh, okay. Which is available on Netflix.
I think it's on Netflix.
Lose all credibility of discussion. They just listen. And people got, you won't hear anything else you have to say about crime.
No matter what anybody says or anybody does, they know exactly what button they were trying to hit with that action.
Stabbing the man and repeatedly raping his girlfriend.
It went to a kind of primitive fear, a primitive American fear, because
the black element has been a staple of white imagination for time just after slavery.
Here was a black man convicted of rape. I, the savior protector of the white population. Never mind.
I am not a good guesstimator of the number of people, but you can see that we have a well-attended community viewing of the movie 13th on 12th and Pine in Capitol Hill, Seattle. This is where the people marched after standing in at City Hall for a few hours this evening.
Great artistic utility in 1915.
And this is what people have chosen to do in the space that they have claimed. This is Aaron recording with RainierAvenueRadio.world. Stay tuned for more information